I wanted to make a clip to start with that explains my approach to using Lightroom and Photoshop, so that I don't have to do this at the beginning of every clip that follows it where I'm actually doing some post-production. So the way I tend to work is that I'll first of all look at the composition. So I'm looking at all my thumbnails in Lightroom and I'm going, which ones of these have got the composition that I need or that I can crop to. I'm not precious about cropping. I know that some photographers say, oh no, it should come out the camera as you want it, and that's fine, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I tend to approach it in, I'm creating an image and it's my image and I do what I like with it. So what I need to start with is a composition I can work with. So the first thing to do is just get rid of everything that doesn't fulfill that criteria, because there's no point wasting my time on post, there's no point wasting my disk space. So I'll get rid of everything that hasn't got any potential. Usually by the time I get to starting with the clips where I'll be showing you how I do the processing, I've already done that process and we're just left with the ones we're going to work with. So I won't waste your time with any of that. As far as what I do with processing, I tend not to be one of these people that goes out with, I have a fixed idea of exactly what I'm going to get, and then when I come back I'm going to try and achieve that, because it kind of stifles you, and I just like being out and about taking pictures. So if I see something that I think, oh, that could be quite interesting, I'll take a picture, and then, as I said, if the composition looks okay, then I'll work with that. I tend not to push the limits in terms of creating really obviously HDR pictures, but at the same time I'm not one of these people who goes, absolutely you must not muck about with the color and the saturation and the dynamic range. If I think the picture warrants it, then I'll do it. So what you're going to find is that if you follow these where I'm working on images that come out the camera and you want to follow along with how I process them, you're not going to find that I've got these preconceived, oh, this is how it should be done. This is just how I like to do it. If you find it useful, helpful, interesting, great. If you don't, then sorry about that, you might want to watch another channel. So what I'm trying to say is that I kind of make it up as I go along. And I generally stay away from full-blown obvious HDR stuff, mostly because I find that if you've got an image that just looks stupid, unless it's got an artistic statement to make where you're saying, right, okay, here's something that looks posterized, for example, then unless you're making that particular statement, I prefer to make a picture that looks like it's something that you could see if you went to the location where I took the picture. That's not to say that I'm absolutely desperately trying to recreate exactly what I could see and make up for the deficiencies of the camera, because there are times when a bit of enhancement will rescue what would have been an otherwise dull raw file and create something really interesting. So, as I said, no hard and fast rules. So with all that said, what I'll do at the beginning of each one, so if somebody dips into my series and is looking at post-processing, I'll refer them back to this clip to say, right, this is how I approach it, so that when I create the clips where I'm doing the processing, there's no flim-flam, there's no preamble, we'll just get right into it. So I hope that's been helpful. One last thing, I'm not going to really labour the point of what the tools that I'm using specifically are doing and how they work and all that sort of tech stuff. I happily make those videos in terms of a tutorial on how to use a tool or a specific technique, say luminosity masks or blend if or whatever it might be that I'm using at the time. But in terms of the raw files that I'm post-processing, I'm just going to show you the process. So by all means leave a comment and say, hey, can you tell me more about blend if, what does that mean, or what's the difference between vibrance and saturation, or what's the difference between contrast and clarity. Those sort of things, I'm really happy to go into them, but they're not the point of my general post-processing videos. The videos really are just about, well, this is how I arrived at the final picture. You know, that's about it really. So I hope you enjoy my channel. Please do subscribe, because I will be posting lots of clips over the coming months and years. And I really appreciate comments and feedback, so let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care.